It's not playing, sound. Coach. It's not playing, Coach. It's not playing. Oh, my God.
Still not playing.
Why don't you just nix the intro? Because 98% of the time it doesn't play. Yeah.
All we hear is stop running your mouth so we can hear the intro.
But it's not playing. If me and Stizz can't hear it, it means it's not playing. I've never met somebody who you got to tell somebody.
Everybody else hears it but you.
No, nobody hears it. If me and Stizz can't hear it, you don't hear it on Facebook or YouTube. It just can't go through your thick skull.
Okay.
Okay, so nobody heard it. Now you want to start the show, or are you going to sit there and just look like you?
All right. Yeah. All right. Now, okay, we start the show now. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. It's me, Coach Muddle, along with Nevada Nick and Stizz. All right, we got an action-packed show this morning. Lots going on. Finally a Thursday night game that was worth watching. Now I've lost track of. I had a whole spew of what I was going to say, and then Nevada Nick threw me off. But it's a little. Yep, I'm going to push it over to you. But wait a second, because
you have your intro.
A little partly cloudy this morning. I was busy working on my engineering degree last night. So I had a lot of things. I was turning alcohol into urine last night. So that was my big engineering project.
Engineering into physics.
Yeah. So yeah.
God forbid Coach doesn't have his intro. Now he's all.
Yeah, I get thrown for a loop. I don't have my intro.
We've never seen Coach thrown for a loop before ever in this show.
Yeah, right.
He's always so on top of.
Yeah, I'm on top of everything.
Right? Yeah, Coach is always on top of his game. Knows what's going on. Good work, Coach. We're
thank you. I appreciate the help.
All right, so we'll get it going here. Obviously, we'll start with the Thursday night game. I took the Packers. I think everybody here said they like the Packers, if I'm correct. I think Stizz commented in that he liked the Packers too.
Yeah.
I like the Packers actually to win the game too. I like the spot. One interesting stat that I thought was interesting. Rodgers is actually 7-0, 19 touchdowns, 1 interception without Devontae Adams. I thought that really kind of caught me off guard, surprised by that. I thought that the Packers had a great game plan. They really did. Running the football, not asking Rodgers to do too much. I believe the time of possession was 2-1. So you're keeping Murray on the side, on the sidelines. Obviously, they had injuries themselves, losing Hopkins, J.J. Watt now out for the year. And the more concerning thing, obviously, Kyler on the second to last play of the game gets hurt. And then you have, obviously, that play to A.J. Green that I have no clue what he was doing. He never even turned to look for the ball. And former Eagle, Rasul Douglas, makes a huge interception because, look, they could have kicked the field goal for the tie, but obviously saved the game and get the win. And what's a huge win for the Packers because now, like I said, last week the Cardinals are 7-0. Now they're 7-1. Packers have the tiebreaker, so Packers are the number 1 seed in the NFC. And obviously J.J. Watt out for the year, and Kyler Murray is in a boot. So a lot can change in 1 week in the NFL. Coach, I'll throw it to you.
Yeah, it's a week-to-week league, and now like we talked about the teams with the easiest road to the top, and right now it's the Packers seem to have that easiest road division-wise because now Arizona still has to play the Rams again. They still have, and the 49ers. You know what? It's a division game. That's going to be a game, and the Seahawks as well. Those you can't just because their record is they're still going to be tough games.
And 49ers gave them a tough game, earlier in the year already. So, and that was without Jimmy G. I don't know what happens. I think Jimmy G's on life support right now, obviously.
Yeah.
But my question, and I'll start with Stizz on this one and then go to you, Coach. Right now, you love how he plays and running around the field and all. But to me, does he need to become more of a pocket passer and use his legs when it's necessary? Because now you have another injury, and Stizz will tell you, Stizz hit the overs last year, won touchdowns with Kyler Murray. But you remember last year, they were doing well. He hurts his shoulder and isn't the same down the stretch now with the foot injury. Stizz, does Kyler Murray need to change his style of play a little bit so that you don't face these injuries every year?
Well, I mean, you spoke of it. I mean, last year when he got hurt, you saw his rushing production went way down. I mean, he loves using his legs, and he's going to get himself killed, man. And any Russian running back is just put himself out there for injury. Luckily this week, I mean, you've seen him in a boot, but Kyler actually said he's fine. He said he tweaked his ankle a little bit. He said he's fine. They put him in a boot for precautionary reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go back to your whole spiel on the Green Bay Packers game plan. Kind of mimics what the Eagles do every week, doesn't it? Run the ball, take some pressure off their quarterback. It's unbelievable. It's like a mirror image for our Philadelphia Eagles here.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's shows you LaFleur. I mean, LaFleur, first 40 games, he's the best coach in football history after 40 games. I mean, I think he's 33-7. So doing a heck of a job. Coach, what do you think? Kyler Murray, does he need to change his style of play?
Well, does he need to, or can he? I don't think he can.
Okay.
You remember the guy's 5'11", 5'10", maybe. Mm-hmm. He's got to move the pocket.
Yeah.
In order to do the things that he does. And without being able to do that, I think he is not a quarterback in the NFL. So that's what it comes down to. I think he has to do those things in order to survive in this league.
Right. And the only quarterback, and look, you saw it catch up to Russell Wilson, obviously, this year. And the only one who's been able to avoid it, and I still think his day is going to come too because he's the smallest of them all, is Lamar Jackson. The way he runs the ball and some of the shots he takes. If you remember last year in the playoffs, he gets the concussion here, but that game was already over. But Lamar hasn't, gotten the injury. But, his style of play. Kyler, I get, you're right. He needs to roll out. But just some of the runs now, you need to get down. You need to be more careful because your best ability is your availability. Now, one other question I want to ask you guys about the Packers now. We're going to switch to the Packers side. Obviously they lose the first game. All hell's breaking loose because, obviously Rodgers, asked for the trade in the offseason. They lose the first game, get blown out. What was it, 38-3 to the Saints? Even me, I was like, oh, Packers are done. They just looked terrible. I thought it was going to be a distraction. Well, here they are now. They've won 7 straight games. Is there any way the Packers can fix this and actually get to where Rodgers comes back next year? I'll start with you, Coach.
No.
Okay.
No, he's out the door. This is his FU tour. Honestly, okay. I think this is more of a week one. Just was just kind of a tease, and now he's just decided to mash the gas and instead of the mic drop, he's going to do the trophy drop in February. And be out the door.
I'll go to you, Stizz. Any way the Packers can fix this and bring back Rodgers?
Me and Coach are on the same wavelength, which is kind of scary. But I have to agree with him. I do believe that he is on the FU tour. I think he's playing his heart out. He's going to try to win it one time, up his value, which I don't know how you can up the value of an MVP quarterback like that. Right. But yeah, I think he's gone. That situation with management coaches, it's way past mending basically. Yeah.
And you know what? The way I look at it too, they're winning, but okay, if they get to the NFC Championship game and lose, to him it's going to be okay. We just done the same thing we've done the last 3 years. You're not going to get anybody. And to me, if they win it all, which me and Stizz would be thrilled, but if they win it all, I think he's going to say, you know what a great note to go out on. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for
I
sure.
win another Super Bowl. I delivered for them. I think now, too, it's kind of like with Brady. I think he's, wants to go to another organization and see what he can do. And look, there's going to be plenty of suitors out there and plenty of teams that are right on the brink. So, like I said, I agree with you guys. I don't think it's going to be fixed. I think he's still going to want to be out. He's not going to let go of the whole Jordan Love thing. And obviously, the disrespect he felt like not being involved in the decision making and or at least having some input in regards to the decision making in the offseason. Now,
I'll tell you.
That's this. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I was going to last note on that. I will tell you. I mean, you got to give this team props on what they did with their game plan, like you talked about earlier. But listen, man, they're down. They're 3 top wide receivers, and they still got the job done against a 7-0 team, which is really commendable. I mean, you lose your best receiver and you lose 2 complementary receivers, and you still go out and get the job done. I'll tell you, gives props to them.
Now, we've talked about all the injuries, but let's talk about that a little bit. We keep seeing this, and it just seems like a trend the last 2 or 3 years with all these injuries. And the one thing, Coach, I don't understand. It's less OTAs, less practicing, less hitting in practicing, all these things to protect the players, but injuries are up. Why? Like, what can the NFL do to fix this? Because I think it's starting.
Well, they can't. They can't because they've already, your body, they've gotten rid of hitting practices. Back in the day, when you played, you hit every day.
Right.
You were live every day. Your body got accustomed to that. Well, your body's not accustomed to getting into a car accident once a week. It's used to getting into a car accident 7 days a week or 6 days a week. So, it's so that's what it is.
They should fire him if they lose to the Lions, but I don't think they will. I don't think Jeffrey Lurie's ever fired a coach during the season. What's going on there, Sammy the Cush? What's up, Sammy?
The Cush.
Now, so we talked about all the injuries. One injury I do want to talk about, obviously. Sorry, I keep on hitting this. I want to get into the Dak situation. Look, you got those top 5 seeds in the NFC, all real close. Obviously, now Green Bay on top at 7-1, or 7-1. Cardinals 7-1. Dallas, obviously, still very much in the mix. They know they're going to win the NFC East. I'm going to ask you first, Stizz. If Dak Prescott isn't 100%, would you play him tonight, or do you be careful and say, all right, we're going to hold him out for a game and look to the future more? What would you do?
You put in Cooper Rush and you say a couple prayers tonight, against Minnesota. No, you know what? Listen, Nick, they got a 3-game lead in this NFC East, and I think this is going to be a breeze with or without Dak for a game or two. Right. I say if he's not 100%, you don't chance it. You go in there, you see what you can do. You run the ball with Zeke and Tony Pollard, and you try to, somehow get this win Sunday night. Yeah, I don't think you chance it. Not with a 3-game lead. If it was closer, I could see.
Right.
I could see maybe you put him out there, but no, I wouldn't chance it.
Coach, would you play Dak if he's not 100%?
Well, what are we talking? I mean, is he 60%? Is he 98%? What is he? There's the things you got to look at. So, but I mean, Dak's my guy. If Dak says he can go, I'm putting him in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm the Cowboys, Dak is my guy, so I mean.
Sometimes, Coach, you got to save the player from himself. And Dak's the kind of guy he's going to want to play. And that would be my concern. But let's say he's 80%. And to me, I would sit him. Give him an extra week, because let's not forget, too, in a couple of weeks, he's going to have to go on short rest, too, in the Thanksgiving game. You don't want to lose Dak. The Cowboys actually finally have a shot at making some noise in the playoffs. And, obviously you lose Dak, the season's over.
Okay.
Sam, I don't know. I don't think he's going to play. The line's screaming that he's not. The Cowboys were a 2.5 point favorite, and now the Vikings are a 3, or Stizz may have said they're possibly a 4-point favorite. Vegas knows something we don't know, in my opinion, because if Dak's playing, no way the Vikings are a 3-point favorite. You will see that number drop. I think it'll drop to where the Cowboys are favorites. So I don't think he is playing. Stizz, you agree, right?
No, yeah, I definitely agree with the line movement like that. Yeah, that tells you he's definitely not playing. I guess we won't know. I mean, they said they're going to make the decision up at pregame warmups though, which I find that kind of hard to believe that they're going to wait that long.
Right. Now on to the Eagles today. I didn't want to start with the Eagles because Eagles suck and they're playing the 0-7 Lions. Now let me ask you this, Coach. The Giants suck too. Don't even start. Now,
listen. Let me tell you something. The Giants are starting to look a little better than the Eagles, man. I have to. You have to admit that. I mean,
no. The Lions records. The Lions are playing harder than the Eagles. I would say the Lions are coached better than the Eagles. I don't think they're a better team than the Eagles, but they're playing harder than the Eagles, and they're coached better than the Eagles. The Lions are just shame. They've had a couple games. Obviously, probably should have won that Ravens game with the field goal. There's a couple other games they probably should have won. I think were the Lions a team you put the Malikes on with against the Vikings? Wasn't that their team? Was that the Lions?
That was the Lions when we were down
there. Put the Malikes on them the one game. So yeah. Now let me ask you this: if Jalen Hurts struggles in the first half today, I'll start with you first, Coach. Do you put in Gardner Minshew and see, maybe if he can do something with this offense?
Normally I wouldn't, but I think the state of the Eagles, and I think Sirianni knows that he's out the door, so he's going to have to do something to try to save himself. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles go 3-and-out in the second series. You got Minshew in,
Yeah. Now, Stizz, to you, if Hurts is struggling in the first half, do you pull him and put in Minshew and see if Gardner can do anything, or would you keep Hurts?
I don't think you do this game.
Okay.
Listen, this is the last thing you want to do, and we all know you don't want to lose to an 0-7 team. You don't want to be that team that gives an 0-7 team their first win. So I think you got to go with the best bet you have in Jalen Hurts, and you got to keep him in the whole game.
Okay. Well, the one thing I would say, though, Gardner Minshew, if you look at it, everybody thinks like he's terrible. He was with the Jaguars, and guys, in his career, 37 touchdowns, 11 interceptions.
Yeah.
That's with the Jaguars. Gardner Minshew's, he's very underrated to me as a quarterback. I mean, what's Trevor Lawrence doing right now? He's not lighting it up. Gardner Minshew played well with the Jags, and that was, as we all know, a bad football team who lost whatever it was, 18 straight going into this year.
Wait a second. He had a running game, though. So let's see what he does with the Eagles, who refuse to run the football.
No, you might be right, but Coach, you know how it is. I honestly believe, just from his experience and maybe being a little bit more accurate, I think this is just me. I think he would give him a little jolt right now. I really do. I believe that. And maybe, you look at it and you say, okay, is it all Sirianni? Maybe a part of it's Hurts. Because Hurts has missed a lot of easy passes to kill drives, which obviously hurt Sirianni and him getting long drives. And I still think Sirianni sucks as a coach. I'm not trying to change that opinion. But 100%. Still, I think I don't know. I think Minshew deserves. Plus, not just that, you're not going to make the playoffs. So why not give a look at Minshew and see what he's got, see if he can help your team, and not just that. You brought him here for a reason. Maybe you could use it as trade bait. For somebody to give you a third or a fourth round pick. So I really believe it's something to look at. Now, did the Lions get their first win today? Start with you, Coach.
Absolutely, they get their first win today. That's you're jumping the gun. That's
no, you're not jumping the gun. You're saying that. It doesn't But okay, it's not jumping the gun at all. Stizz, did the Lions get their first win today?
Wow. Yes. I think they do.
Come to the dark side, Stizz. Come to the dark side.
I gotta stay with the coach train here. You know what I mean?
Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, then you know what? I'll never be on the coach train. Eagles find a way to pull it out today against the lowly Lions. Lions are 0-8. But
now wait a second.
Regardless, the Eagles should not be laying 3.5 to anybody. I don't think the Eagles should lay 3.5 to Alabama on the road, let alone the Lion. And there we go. I guess David, a Lions fan, and I'm David. I'm not trying. That's got to be tough, man, because Lions are loyal fans and deserve. It's got to be tough. The
Lions rebuilding since 1949.
Yeah, that's the truth. But no, I don't. I think the Eagles. I hope the Eagles look better today. But you look, credit to the Lions because that's not 0-17. I know on the record they're 0-7, but they played a lot of good teams tough. They played the Rams tough last week. They played the Ravens tough. They've been in every game. That 49ers game, they make that crazy comeback. Okay, he's a Giants guy. Hate the Eagles. Okay. Well, you're with Coach.
There you go.
Thanks, Jess, baby.
Coach got a buddy.
Yeah,
that's right. I got a buddy.
Now, on to my boy, who I said would regain his confidence in Indianapolis. Carson Wentz starting to regain some of his confidence, looking better every week. But let me ask you, is it fool's gold, or can Carson Wentz regain that MVP form he showed with the Eagles? I'll start with you, Stizz.
Fool's gold. Fool's gold. I'm not trusting him. I mean, he has looked good over the last couple of weeks. He's got 2 layups. Well, after this week, this is going to be a tough one against Tennessee.
Yes, it is. I mean, yes, it is.
This is a
huge game
division game, huge game. We'll talk about who I like in that game a little bit later. But after that, he's got the Jets and the Jags, 2 layups. So if he can get a win today, gets 2 wins the following week, then he faces Tampa Bay and Buffalo after that. So they're 2 tough ones. But if he can keep on playing the way he's playing, MVP, I think that's going a little bit overboard, but he is playing well.
How about a top 10 quarterback in the league? I mean, he was a bottom 10 quarterback there.
Sure.
No, Stiz, huge game for them today. Basically, the Colts can either go where they're 1 game behind the Titans or 4 games. Because obviously, if they lose to the Titans today, they're 3 games back. But the Titans hold the tiebreaker because they beat them head to head twice then. So, I mean, this is an enormous game. Obviously you lose today, your chances of winning the division are probably shot because you're back 4 games with 9 to play. And that's real tough. Obviously, Stizz, I know you wouldn't be too upset because you did take the Titans. What was it, over 9.5 or 9?
Over nine.
Over 9.
So, I'm kind of rooting for the Titans to get, some wins here. But
now, as for me, I don't think it's fool's gold. I don't know if he'll be MVP form again, but I do think he can be a top 5, top 10 quarterback. I've always been a Wentz guy, and I think you're seeing Reich slowly here rebuild him, and I think they still could use to go get him a weapon on the outside. We'll see what happens when T.Y. gets back. But I think he's building it back. Coach, is Wentz, can he return to MVP form, or we'll say top 10 quarterback form?
First off, the home office just called Nevada Nick. You got to go pee in a cup.
Yeah.
Okay, after the show, they want you to go pee in a cup.
Random drug test.
Drug test for Nevada Nick.
we do that.
I'm sorry. I'm on the Stizz train now. I'm jumping on the Stizz train.
We got to find you guys a room.
Symbiotica, baby. Symbiotica.
I'll tell you, got to find these guys a room.
Oh, man. East Fool's gold, baby.
Now, last few weeks, we've been doing a thing where we all give a bold prediction every week. I'll start it off. Coach looks up at this guy. Hey, I like it. And it's, for my bold prediction, so no team that's been a 7.5 or higher point underdog has won outright. I'm going to say this week, one of those teams finds a way to win finally. That's my bold prediction. Stizz, what's yours?
Patrick Mahomes, 8 interceptions in the last 5 games. My bold prediction is he throws 3 touchdowns with 0 picks against coaches and David's New York Giants Monday
He's
night.
off the chain. He's off the chain. Oh, thank God.
Wow.
All right, I like it. That's a
wow.
And he's thrown an interception in a bunch of games in a row too, Stizz. That's
he's been terrible. And I mean, listen, if anything's a get right game for him, it's going to be Monday. I mean, no disrespect, but listen, this is the game that he needs to get things right. And if he doesn't, forget about it, man. The Kansas City Chiefs are pretty much done for the year.
Coach, your bold prediction.
Come Monday or Tuesday, whenever the trade deadline is, there's a new quarterback in Carolina.
Okay. There we go. That's a bold prediction.
Is that quarterback last name Watson?
No, it's not. There's a trophy down the street from you, a statue down the street from you.
Oh,
of the guy.
Oh, okay.
Big Dick Nick.
So Rocky Balboa is going to be the quarterback.
They're going to start
got a little bit in them.
Yeah. They're going to start running some Philly special in Carolina.
So
Stallone can still throw some 5-and-out routes.
Yeah. Now, Coach, and I know you're a Sam Darnold guy, but too. Losing McCaffrey was such a shock to that because people don't realize the effect he has because you gotta have one of your guys keep eyes on him coming out of the backfield. He's so dangerous as a receiver as well. It really changes that offense and it makes your receivers better too. In DJ Moore and obviously I would say Robbie Anderson's been a disappointment.
Big time.
Since coming to the Jets. But
from the Jets,
from the Jets. But look with the Panthers, you've given up a 2, a 4, and a 6 now, and obviously you bring in Bridgewater, you bring in Darnold, and neither have worked out. Matt Rule, and usually year 3, like Coach has always said, is his big year. He needs to figure out his quarterback situation, or he's not going to be in it too long. So you think Mitch Trubisky. All right. Now, look, let's not forget, too, Mitch Trubisky from the University of North Carolina. So,
hey, Mitch is a playoff quarterback. I mean, the Bears were a playoff team with him as a quarterback.
I'm just saying. Some, players who were playoff quarterbacks doesn't necessarily mean you're good, but, that's for another day. All right, let's get into some of the games today. I'm going to start with the Bucs Saints. Like a very interesting game, obviously. Because if you guys remember last year, Brady really struggled against that Saints defense. Any chance today, guys, the Saints can pull off a win? I'll start with you, Coach.
There's always a chance, but I just don't think so because it's a totally different team now. Right. In New Orleans without Drew Brees, and they're missing some guys on defense there. So I don't think so.
Stizz, can the Saints pull off an upset? If you're asking me if I'm going with TB12 or Jameis Winston, I mean, it's TB12 all day. I don't think so. I mean, look, they just got Mark Ingram back. New what they call themselves, the boom and zoom of the New Orleans Saints. That's their new tandem name. The big thing is really the Saints don't have a wide receiver. They don't have a number 1 wide receiver. Their number 1 wide receiver is Alvin Kamara. 10 catches last week. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just don't see Tampa Bay's just got too many weapons, even without, Antonio Brown. I think it's going to be too much for him.
Yeah. No, and you know what, too, Stizz? It actually got to the point, too, on that game Monday night. They started doubling Kamara out of the backfield because Kamara was just beaten up. James actually had 2 nice throws down the field and both were dropped. He made 2 nice throws, and that's the one thing. Look, one thing you got to give Jameis credit. He's cut the turnovers out. He really has.
Yes.
But I do think, and look, the identity of Saints now is more run the football, get it in Kamara's hands, throwing the ball as well, and then play defense. But I do think they need to open it up a little bit with Jameis, because that's where Jameis is actually good, is throwing the football down the field. Look, you don't want the costly turnovers, obviously, but I think, look, if they ever want to get to the point where they can compete and play in the playoffs too, you're going to need to open it up a little bit, in my opinion, and let Jameis throw the ball deep. And maybe they're waiting for Michael Thomas to get healthy to start to do that.
Yeah. Do you know who their next best receiver was last week after Alvin Kamara's 10 catches? The tight end, Adam Troutman, with 3 catches for 36 yards.
Wow.
And he had a big fumble. That's telling you. Yeah, that's telling you what you need to know. I mean, they need Michael Thomas back bad, and from what I'm hearing reports, he's not coming back for at least another 2-3 weeks. He's still 2-3 weeks away. So I agree with you. I think they got to open up their playbook, and man, let him chuck the ball like he's been doing in his past. Let him sling it.
Right. All right, now on to the Patriots and Chargers. Last year, this was a complete blowout, this game. I don't know if you guys remember, but actually the Patriots shut out the Chargers. Now, Patriots, I know it was the Jets, but, the Patriots also barely got beat by the Cowboys, probably should have beaten the Bucs. You guys think any chance Bill can go into L.A. and win a game against the Chargers? I'll start with you, Coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think they'll be ready to go. And the biggest question is, the Chargers got blown out by Baltimore,
right? And
then had the bye. Was that enough? Did the bye help them or hurt them? Now they have to bring it. Now New England comes to town, and so we'll see how that works out. But I think I like New England today.
Okay. Stizz, can the Patriots pull off the win?
I think the bye did help the Chargers. In fact, the only thing I really like the Chargers a lot today.
Okay.
The only thing that's kind of swaying me is Austin Eckler pops up on the injury chart. He's got a hip injury. I don't understand it. They're coming off a bye week. 7 days later, and he shows up. He didn't practice Thursday. He didn't practice Friday. He says he'll be fine. He says he's going to play. I don't know, man. I don't trust it. But guess what? I think you put the ball in Justin Herbert's hands and you let him hit Mike Williams, hit Keenan Allen. You know what I mean? Hit his tight ends. And I think they'll have no problem against them. New England, 54 points last week, man. That's crazy. Right. Even against the lowly Jets. I think they come back down to earth today. Well, and I think Chargers get the job done.
Right. The one thing I would say, though, too, Chargers struggle against the run, and the Patriots will pound the rock. The Patriots are going to pound the rock, so the Chargers better have some success stopping the run, or it could be in for a long day today. Now, obviously, Steelers Browns today in a big divisional game, big game for the Browns too. You want to keep on that trend of winning games, obviously. Question for you guys, Baker. Toughing it out. Obviously, had a break there in his shoulder and a torn labrum. He's going to play. But let me ask you, would you extend Baker Mayfield and give him the long-term contract? Or would you, take the risk, maybe either franchise him in the offseason or try to bring in one of those big-name QBs? I'll go to you, Coach.
Yeah, I'm not franchising it. I mean, I'm franchising him. I'm not giving him a long-term deal just yet. Okay. He really hasn't proved it yet. 1 year, one hit wonder. You don't know. So let's see you do. Let's see you do it a couple more times.
Yeah, and I would say I'm not giving him the extension either. I'm looking at the thing, and look, you see what you can do. If you can get Aaron Rodgers to Cleveland, I'd rather pay Aaron Rodgers $30 million than Baker Mayfield $30 million, and take that team. And then now you're going to take that team and take them over the top. So you see what you can do, and then if you can't bring in a quarterback that you feel is better than Baker, then you franchise him, give him another year. But no, I'm not giving him a long-term contract. That's a big-time wait and see for me. What would you do, Stizz? Did he freeze?
Where did he go? I guess he froze up, I guess.
Yeah, I think he froze.
Yeah, I haven't seen enough. I agree with you. I haven't seen enough from Baker Mayfield. I would go after.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Stizz, I think you need to go out and come back in. Yeah, we can hear you, but you're going in and out. You might want to go out and come back in. There he goes.
There we go.
Well, Stizz agrees with us. He's a smart guy, obviously. I got like 25 streams for Stizz, but Stizz, finish what you were saying. Sorry, buddy.
All right, sorry about that.
It's all good.
I got to start paying my cable bill, my Wi-Fi. trying to get a loan from Coach, and it's still in the mail. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, what is your neighbor? You try to steal from your neighbor. You figured it out, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Still in the mail with those cookies, Stizz.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. No, I think I agree with you guys. I wouldn't give him an extension. I haven't seen enough from Baker Mayfield yet to believe in him. But I'll tell you, man, Cleveland, like you said, if they get Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that, oh boy, that they're looking good with this two running back situation. And if these receivers can get healthy, yeah.
Brian says it's your Obama phones.
Yeah. I gotta get rid of that cricket. You know what I mean?
All right, that's great. Now, time for Stizz's fantasy advice. Stizz, you want to start with your starts of the week?
Sure. Well, we'll actually loop back around to what we talked about with the Chargers. I got two must starts this week. We're gonna go with Damian Harris, running back for the New England Patriots. I mean, we just talked about it.
Yep.
The kid ran for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. You got a Week 8 matchup against the Chargers, who ranks dead last versus the rush in fantasy, which is huge. I mean, they're gonna pound Damian Harris. They got Brandon Bolden. They got this kid, Ramondre Stevenson, who apparently Belichick doesn't like. He keeps on scratching the kid. I don't understand it. The kid's got talent, but yeah, they're gonna run the rock with Damian Harris. So I think you get him on your starting lineup if you can. Second must start. Boy, man, this kid's a fan favorite now. Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's thrown at least 2 touchdowns in every game this year.
Wow.
Coming off a blowout win versus the Ravens on the road, 416 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, which is unheard of. I mean, on the road against, the talented Baltimore Ravens, you didn't think that would happen. Now he comes up with a Week 8 matchup against the Jets, the lowly Jets. Listen, if New England, with running the ball, of course, if they could put up 54 points against the Jets, what do you think Joe Burrow is going to do against them? Jets ranked 28th versus the pass. You mushed them, yeah. Well, we'll see. I guess Brian's got Joe Burrow on his fantasy team. Listen, he's relying on this new shiny target in Jamar Chase, fellas. Man, this 1-2 connection. They talked about it in the beginning of the year. That was their first round draft pick, and they kind of questioned it. Wanted to go after the offensive lineman.
Right.
Well, it's looking to pay dividends now. But those are my 2 starts, Nick.
All right. How about your sits of the week, Stizz?
I got 2 sits as well. Man. Not very often do you sit a quarterback one from the previous week, but listen, I'm doing it this week. Tua Tagovailoa. I'm putting him on the pine, man. I'm putting him on the bench this week. Last week, 291 yards, 4 touchdowns against the Atlanta Falcons. Man, huge game. He was the number 1 fantasy quarterback last week. Wow. Week 8, he's going against Buffalo, coming off a bye. Okay. The number 1 defense versus quarterbacks this year.
Yeah.
Allowing 13 fantasy points versus quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't think you can put him in your starting lineup. I think you got to save him for another week, and you got to go from there.
And Buffalo beat them 35-0 earlier in the year too, Stizz. So that's another thing you want to, obviously.
So there you go. Shutout game. coming off a bye week, which really goes towards that premise as well.
Right.
Second guy that he's riding my bench until I see more from him. Tyler Lockett, man. Russell Wilson, being without Russell Wilson and with not Pat's but Geno Smith in the lineup. Geno is killing his fantasy stock, man. Tyler Lockett, the big name Tyler Lockett, averaging 3 receptions, 31.6 receiving yards the last 5 games. 0, count them, 0 touchdowns. I gotta wait. I gotta wait. You're gonna have to wait another couple weeks before Russell Wilson gets back in. I know he's striving to play sooner than later, but I'm sitting Tyler Lockett too as well.
All right, Stizz, do you have any waiver wire pickups for us?
Well, it's a little bit easier this week. Last week we know it was waiver wire Armageddon with 6 teams on bye. It was tough. Yeah, this week we only have Baltimore and Las Vegas on bye. Still some big names, still some big names that you can't have in your starting lineup. But my number one guy to get in waivers free agency is, I know it's crazy, but Kenneth Gainwell. Miles Sanders they put on the IR, and we know the Eagles don't run the ball. We know Nick Sirianni's a dope. But Kenneth Gainwell's been a part of this running attack, or lack thereof, should I say, for the last 3 weeks. But he's been a part of the system.
Right.
Listen, Detroit gives up. If any game this week is a spot to have an Eagles running back, this is it. Detroit's giving up 120 rushing yards per game. So Kenneth Gainwell catches the ball too, which is huge. That's what you want in PPR leagues. So he's my number one waiver wire target, Kenneth Gainwell. My number 2, I'm going to a defense. I'm going to Cincinnati, and I'm gobbling up their defense against the Jets. They're facing the number 1 cart guy from the Aston Giant, the local Giant, in Mike White. Okay, again this week. Flacco, you probably won't see. The U of D guy, Joe Flacco, you probably won't see him till at least next week. But Mike White's getting to start again. And boy, Cincinnati is just going to eat. They are licking their chops this week. They're allowing a stingy 17 points in their last 3 games. So, yeah, I'm firing up Cincinnati's defense. I ended up picking them up in 2 of my leagues. I got lucky. Everybody was kind of sleeping on them. So, yeah, those are my 2 waiver/free agent moves.
Okay. Stizz, that's one thing nobody's really talked about, and that's how good the Bengals defense has played. They've been playing really well. Obviously, Burrow and Chase get all the publicity, obviously.
Sure.
That defense is playing well, and one of the big signings they had in the offseason was getting Trey Hendrickson.
Hendrickson, yep.
Yeah, from the Saints. I believe. Right. I mean, from the 6.5 sacks.
Spit it out, you stuttering prick.
Yeah, you stuttering prick. Come on, Spider.
It's your shine box.
That's great. So now time for my picks. I'm going to end with my biggest pick, obviously, but I'll start with this. I like the Patriots plus 4.5 today. I think they're going to be able to run the football. As we know, Belichick plays mind games with young quarterbacks. I do understand we're talking about Justin Herbert last year, but this is a guy who did get shut out last year. I think that the Patriots keep it close. They've had a lot of close games this year. I could see the Chargers winning, but I think 4.5 points is too much. I think the Patriots are going to pound the rock, keep Herbert off the field. Coach knows about that Belichick philosophy. He saw it in the Super Bowl against the Bills, obviously, in 1990, when, that great Bills offense with Jim Kelly was shut down by Belichick's defense, and then they just ran the football. So I think you're going to see a lot of that today. Patriots running the ball, letting Mac Jones make a couple plays. I like the Patriots plus 4.5. Then I'm going down to New Orleans, and I think I'm going to go with the Saints plus 4.5. They played the Bucs really well last year, and if it wasn't for a Jared Cook fumble in the playoffs, they might have beat them a third time. Because let's not forget, Jared Cook, they were up 3 points going on the other side of the 50-yard line when he fumbles, Bucks pick it up and then end up, getting a touchdown with Brady and going up 4, and that completely changed the momentum of the game. So I'm going to go Saints plus 4.5. I do believe Tampa Bay wins the game, but I think the Saints are going to find a way against that, injury-ravaged defense of the Bucks. I think Gronk returns today, but still no AB. I think that Saints defense finds a way to keep it close. I like the Saints plus 4.5, like the Bucks to win the game. Then I'm going to go to. Stizz, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Nick. Let me ask you a quick question about Gronk. Do you agree with them putting him back in this early?
No, because he's so important to them and so important to them in the red zone. When you're talking about a rib injury, and I believe too, he had a lung punctured, if I'm correct.
Lacerated lung, lacerated lung with 4 broken ribs.
Yeah, I would try to get this game without him. I know, and that's part of it, Stizz. Like we talked about with Dallas, I just think there's so much pressure with these 5 really good teams in the NFC. Nobody wants to get behind, because as you know, there's only one team that gets home field advantage, and that's such a big thing in the playoffs. So, I do those things. Especially when you got Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard, I would hold Gronk another week, and I'm not sure who they play next week. But I think they figured divisional game on the road in the loud Superdome. I think they no AB already. I think they feel as if they need them. So, but no, I agree with you 100% this.
I'll be honest with you. I could see Gronk getting hit, going out, and retiring again sooner than later. I could really see that happening.
Well, especially if it's anything to his back, because his back was the thing that was really bothering him. He lost some weight and had that year off and started feeling better, but he's had some real back issues. So my next game, and some people may kind of shake their head at this. I'm going to go with the Jags plus 3.5. Stizz alluded to it with Lockett. Last week if Metcalf and offensive pass interference should have been called on it because he literally threw the guy to the ground. But Metcalf and Lockett, except for that one play, pretty much did nothing. Jaguars coming off a bye. Seahawks on a short week. I do realize, obviously, it isn't Seattle, but I just think this young team, Lawrence has looked better. I think he's going to be able to move the ball and have some success against that Seahawks defense. And look, when you got an offense like the Seahawks right now that's struggling, teams are going to be in it. Because you're not able to score points. So I love the Jags plus 3.5 today. My next game, I'm going to go with Cleveland. I like Cleveland minus 4. You get Nick Chubb back. You get your tackles back. Yes, there is a little bit of that revenge factor with the Steelers because they whipped up on them in the playoffs. But still, to me, Ben still, look, he's 9 months older. I don't love how Ben looks. I think the Browns are going to run the rock. I think they're just a better football team than the Steelers. I like the Browns minus 4. And then, look, I'm giving you my lock of the year today. I said, last week I should have pulled the trigger on the Bengals. I loved them. I didn't. I love this game today. I should have went with it last week with the Bengals. I didn't. My lock of the year is the Colts today, minus 2.5. I got lucky. I got the Colts plus 1. Hungry dogs run faster, said Jason Kelsey. The Colts are a hungry dog. This is a must-win for them. They are starting to play well, starting to run the ball. You take your head all you want, Coach. I don't want you to be on my train. I want you on the other side. That's how I want it. I think the Colts are going to play an impressive game today. Carson Wentz is starting to get confident. I think you're going to see it. Love the Colts. Lock of the year, Colts minus 2.5. Take it to the bank. Bet your mortgage on it. Sell your car. Take your T-bonds, your Bitcoin, whatever it is. Put it all on it. Lock of the year. Love the Colts today. Stizz will tell you right when the line came out, I loved it. And then a weird thing this year, because I usually hate when you see the line move, because the Colts were plus 1. It's all the money's being bet on the Titans. Actually, this is where they call it reverse line movement. This isn't because all the money's on the Colts. If for some reason they moved this line, most of the money's on the Titans. Everybody's betting the Titans, but they did they call it reverse line movement, which I can't explain why they do it, but they do it. Lock of the year, love the Colts. All right, we'll move on to you, Stizz. Stizz, you want to start with your prop bet of the week?
Sure.
On the flyer, by the way, 5 straight props. Stizz.
5 straight prop bets, man. I'm starting to come into things here.
Let me give myself credit. I said, it was early. We need to get it going. It was early. Now Stizz has got it going. Stizz, your prop bet of the week.
Prop bet week 8. I'm going Tyler Boyd under 44.5 receiving yards. He's only hit this over twice this year so far. You could see, what's happening is Joe Burrow's, he's peppering T. Higgins with targets, and he's just throwing downfield to Jamar Chase. It seems like Tyler Boyd is now your odd man out. And, Nevada Knicks boy, CJ Uzomah, who's your mama, is actually getting into the mix too. So, Tyler Boyd is looking, fourth on the depth chart in receiving targets. So, I'm going under 44.5 receiving yards. I'm going to try to make it 6 in a row. We'll see what happens.
Okay, now on to our locks of the week. Obviously, we know if I have a lock of the year, it's going to be my lock of the week. I'm going to stick with the Colts. Stizz, your lock of the week?
Boy, I feel good because I'm hopping on that Nevada Nick make that money train, baby. Colts minus 2.5. Nevada Nick told me early in the week, Colts +1 against Tennessee. Revenge game. Big, huge in betting-wise. Revenge games, especially division-wise. 3.5-point swing, okay? I like how it's going for the Colts. Must win. Like I said, they win this game. They got 2 cake matchups the next 2 weeks, and they don't want to be 4 games behind. So I'm feeling pretty good against this. They lost 25-16 in week 3 against the Tennessee Titans. I feel good. I think I might upgrade from the Cricket to a T-Mobile with all this money I'm going to win today, and we're going to be looking good. Colts minus 2.5.
And let's not forget, too, Titans coming off 2 huge wins, in which I think a lot of people thought were going to be losses in the Bills and the Chiefs. Yes. So that's something else I'm factoring in it, too. You're coming off these 2 huge wins, you start to feel yourself a little bit. Like I said, I like how the Colts are starting to come together. Jonathan Taylor playing well. You got Quentin Nelson back. Michael Pittman starting to really become a target for Wentz. They're getting some chemistry. So, I love the Colts today, too. Now, Coach Blue unsure with his lock of the week. Had somebody else switched it.
He was switched at the last minute, but let me tell you something, everyone. You don't. Look, he's going to have to pee in a cup. He's got some issues going on because there's no way. Carson Wentz is fool's gold, okay? I'm just telling you. But, yes, let's go Detroit, baby. Let's go Lions.
Lions plus
Lions roar, baby. Lions roar today.
Say it outright, too. You take a money line. You got the balls, or are you just going to take the 3.5?
Huh? No, I think they win the football game outright, all the way.
Okay.
Well, there we go. All right.
They get off the snide. They get their first victory of the season against the Kegels.
And you know what? They do it for Deuce Staley. If it is, they do it for Deuce Staley.
They do it for Deuce.
No, really, he's not right. No, he's right though. And it might have been a mistake. Maybe the Eagles should have hired Deuce Staley. I know some people thought, but Deuce wasn't going to be an offensive coordinator. He was going to be your, John Harbaugh type, who's a special teams coach, who goes in, gets a good offensive coordinator, a good defensive coordinator, and they're the, basically the manager of the team. No, and look, Deuce was loved in Philly. They say Deuce is loved in Detroit. You've seen how much he's done for Swift already. Swift having a big year. This is right about that. So we'll see what happens, but let's go Colts. Nevada's got some big money on it. Let's go. And I got a ticket too. I got the Braves at 13-1 to win the World Series. One more game, baby. Ooh.
Hey, that's politically incorrect now.
Hey, they still do it during the game.
Do they? I have no idea, man. I'm not watching.
It's the Coach Muddle show. Nobody's watching. We're good.
Oh, man. What's up, Sammy? Welcome back, buddy.
Sammy chiming in late.
Yo, Sammy, what's up? Take Washington plus anything. Washington playing today?
No,
they're
playing today. That's why.
Yeah, that's why. There you go. Good call, Sammy.
Oh, now they're playing. Washington's playing Denver today.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think they should beat Denver. I agree. Yeah, let's go Braves. I agree with you, Brian. Let's go Braves. I got like I said, 13-1. I got a ticket on them.
All right. Good stuff. Now make sure you come back tomorrow because we have a huge show because it is Monday night. The New York Football Giants will be taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And, you know, as much as it probably is the get-right game for Kansas City, my fandom won't allow me to subscribe to that, okay? So,
you shouldn't.
You know, let's go.
It should, but you know what? With what we've seen with the Chiefs, it's not impossible the Giants win tomorrow. I mean, the Chiefs
not at all.
And look, you talk about the Chiefs defense, but the Chiefs offense only scored 3 points.
Well, we're talking about Daniel Jones, who can't stack 2 wins on top of each other.
I know, Coach. I know, but it's not impossible that they pull the win out, Coach. It isn't. I mean, the Chiefs.
I'm turning them lights right out. I see
he turned the lights off because he's sitting there eating all the candy.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
But all right, everyone, listen, thanks for jumping in, hanging out with us this morning. We really appreciate it. Tell your friends, share the page, go over to YouTube, like, subscribe, ring the bell. We really appreciate all the help you guys give us. And come back tomorrow. We'll be there. What are we on at 6 o'clock? Yep. And
I don't even know what time it's going.
I don't even know. You know, a little partly cloudy still. So we're good. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy some football today. Be safe, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
At we think 6 o'clock.